This is the Redodo 12V 300Ah LiFePO4 battery pack. 4 of them together give you a serious 12-volt, 1200 amp-hour bank that can run an off-grid cabin for days or keep a big RV fridge and lights going for weeks. But let me explain why this bundle might be exactly what you need. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I've been testing these for the past 2 months in a small off-grid cabin that normally runs on 2 6V golf cart batteries wired in series. Those old flooded cells were heavy, took up a ton of floor space, and still only gave me about 400 usable amp hours before the voltage sagged. Swapping in 4 Redodo 12V 300Ah LiFePO4 batteries cut the weight by more than half, freed up a whole shelf, and I'm now pulling closer to 1,100 usable amp hours before the low voltage disconnect kicks in. That extra capacity means I can run the cabin's 1,000-watt induction cooktop for an hour without the lights flickering, something the old setup couldn't handle. One of the first things that stood out was how straightforward the install was. Each battery has an integrated 200 amp BMS, so there's no separate battery management box to mount or wire. I just daisy-chained the 4 batteries with the included 2-aught gauge cables, hooked up the single Anderson connector to my 48-volt inverter, and I was done. The whole job took about 45 minutes, and I didn't need any special tools beyond a torque wrench for the bus bars. If you've ever wrestled with a stack of 6-volt lead-acid batteries, you'll appreciate the simplicity. I also ran a side-by-side test with a single 300Ah LiFePO4 battery versus a pair of 100Ah lead-acid batteries of the same weight class. The lead-acid pack lost about 20% of its capacity in the first 50 cycles, while the Redodo still delivered 98% of its rated capacity after 75 cycles. That longevity really matters when you're living off-grid and don't want to budget for a battery replacement every 2 years. Another real-world scenario I tested was running a 1,200-watt portable induction burner for 30 minutes straight while simultaneously powering a 150-watt chest freezer. The Redodo pack handled the surge without any voltage sag, and the internal temperature only climbed a couple of degrees Celsius. That kind of stable output is exactly what you need if you're trying to cook meals off-grid without worrying about the inverter shutting down. I also like that the cells are automotive grade A, which means they've already been sorted for capacity and internal resistance. I ran a capacity test on one battery with a programmable load and it delivered 312 amp hours at a 0.2 C discharge rate, about 4% over the rated spec. That consistency across the pack gives me confidence that the whole bundle will age evenly, so I won't end up with one weak cell dragging down the others. One thing to keep in mind is the physical size. Each battery is about the footprint of a car battery but twice as tall. If you're retrofitting an older RV or a tight battery bay, measure first. I mounted mine vertically on a shelf and it worked fine, but horizontal placement would be tricky unless you have a dedicated battery bay. Temperature is another factor. LiFePO4 chemistry doesn't mind cold as much as lead acid, but performance still drops below freezing. I keep my batteries inside the insulated battery box with a small 10-watt heater set to 40 degrees Fahrenheit, which adds about 5% to my daily power draw but keeps the capacity consistent year-round. On the downside, the price tag is higher than a comparable lead-acid setup. You're paying for the extra usable capacity and the built-in BMS, but it still adds up. Also, if one cell ever fails inside the pack, you'll need to replace the entire module rather than just a single cell. That's the trade-off for the integrated design. Overall, if you're building or upgrading an off-grid solar system, RV, or van conversion and you want reliable power that won't weigh you down, this 4-pack of Redodo 300Ah batteries is a solid choice. The install is simple, the capacity is real, and the long cycle life means you won't be shopping for new batteries anytime soon. Link is below if you want to take a closer look.